Hello, I'm Chief of Emergency Services, Mary Jo Flynn Nevins. In your career as a county employee, you may be called upon to serve the county in the event of a disaster. It's critical that you understand your role you're obligated to play as a disaster service worker. We know how important it is for you and your family to be prepared for disaster, and it's equally important for local government to be ready to respond to the needs of our residents, cities, and special districts. Every county employee is critical in that response, so as you participate in this training, please take note of your duties. Prepare yourselves and your family so we will all be ready to rapidly respond to a disaster. I hope that you will never need to put this training to use, but it is crucial that you're prepared to protect yourself and your family in a crisis. What follows is the County of Sacramento Disaster Service Worker Training. Under state law, county employees are designated disaster service workers. This video will explain what that means to you and how to fulfill your duties effectively. In the County of Sacramento, we live with the very real possibility of disasters occurring from flooding, severe weather, fires, pandemics, and terrorist events. It is the duty of local government to be ready to respond to the needs of our community. We'll cover how to prepare your family and home for an emergency, and how to make sure that you're prepared at work. We'll discuss your training requirements and duties as a disaster service worker, or DSW. We'll discuss how county workers are classified and deployed in their role as a disaster service worker. It is important that you understand this material. If you have questions, please talk to your supervisor or department's human resources representative. We appreciate your time in reviewing this information. Thank you.
California Government Code Section 3100 to 3109 states,
"It is hereby declared that the protection of the health and safety and preservation of the lives and property of the people of the state from the effects of natural, man-made, or war-caused emergencies which result in conditions of disaster or in extreme peril to life, property, and resources is of paramount state importance, requiring the responsible efforts of public and private agencies and individual citizens. In furtherance of the exercise of the police power of the state in protection of its citizens and resources, all public employees are hereby declared to be disaster service workers, subject to such disaster service activities as may be assigned to them by their superiors or by law."
when you begin employment with the county, you are made aware of your role as a disaster service worker and asked to sign the loyalty oath that you have reviewed as part of your hiring process. When the county proclaims an emergency, you may be required to report to work and you may be assigned to disaster service work at any time. Every attempt will be made to assign employees to disaster service worker tasks that are similar to their regular work duties. As a disaster service worker, also known as DSW, you may be assigned to a disaster service activity that you may not do as part of your day-to-day work assignment. You are considered to be acting within the scope of disaster service duties while assisting any unit of the County Emergency Operations Organization or performing any act contributing to the protection of life or property or mitigating the effects of an emergency or potential emergency while under the supervision of a superior and emergency organization or under the supervision and direction of the American Red Cross or in carrying out a mission assigned to that agency by a responsible state or local authority. For example, you may be asked to help with the reception desk at a shelter or with distribution of food or water. Whatever you may be asked to do, it will not be beyond your abilities or qualifications. It is important to note that in all cases, these service activities will not include the public safety emergency response and medical duties typically associated with law enforcement, fire service, and/or emergency medical services, unless that is already your day-to-day job assignment. However, this may require that your disaster service work be at locations and in conditions different from your normal work assignment. When called upon to serve as a disaster service worker, you may find yourself assigned to any of these typical tasks. Animal rescue, care, and shelter, typically performed by veterinarians, veterinary support staff, and animal handlers. Communications, install, operate, and maintain various communication systems. Community Emergency Response Team member, assist within an assigned area to survey area conditions, report back information, generally assist officials and individuals in the protection of life and property. Emergency Operations Center Incident Command, Under the direction of an EOC or incident commander, assist in the coordination of overall response and support to an incident, including performing in one or more of the standard emergency management system functions. Human services. Assist general services associated with emergency sheltering, family reunification, and mental health and spiritual needs of the community. Fire. Applies only to auxiliary firefighters or wildland firefighters. Laborer. Perform general labor services and support emergency operations. Law enforcement. Applies only to auxiliary officers. Logistics. Assist in procurement, warehousing, and distribution of supplies. Medical and environmental health. Assist in operating various medical and first aid services. Assist in actions that prevent the spread of disease, food or waterborne illnesses. Safety Assessment Program Evaluator. Survey and evaluate damaged facilities for safety and ability to continue occupancy. Search and rescue. Under the direction of an appropriate authority, perform various search and rescue functions. Utilities. Assist utility personnel in the repair and restoration of public utilities damaged by disaster. As a disaster service worker, you are expected to be prepared to respond. Preparedness includes ensuring your family is safe and able to meet their needs without your direct assistance. This type of readiness effort takes planning and preparation. Knowing what to do and how to do it can help you and your family manage disasters with far less fear or worry. There are several ways you can be prepared with a plan at home, at work, and on the go. While the preparation process can seem overwhelming if you haven't started, there are a variety of resources available to make it easier, including www.sacramentoready.org. There's information on the types of disasters Sacramento County may face, along with suggested preparedness tips. Be ready by ensuring that you have copies of financial and legal documents that you might need to access following a disaster. Pack a small bag or backpack with essentials if you need to leave suddenly. This go bag should also double as the items you might need to take with you if recalled to work to respond as a disaster service worker. Pack a work bag with some comfort and essential items that you might need should you be unable to return home. Ideally, this would be stored at your work location or in your vehicle. Ensure your family is ready with a kit that has a minimum of 72 hours worth of supplies, although recent disasters have shown having a week's worth of supplies is ideal. During a major disaster, restricted or absent utilities such as power, water, and sanitation should be the focus. Pack what will keep you comfortable, similar to packing for a camping trip. The items in a kit are personal for your needs and comforts. Your department and supervisor are ultimately responsible for providing you with directions and communicating your activation as a disaster service worker. When a disaster strikes, the Emergency Operations Center at the county may be activated and a proclamation of an emergency made. A proclamation provides limited immunity for emergency actions of public employees and governing bodies, authorizes the issuance of orders like curfews or evacuations, and is necessary in order to obtain a governor's proclamation or presidential declaration, among others. A proclamation in a significant disaster warranting additional staff support could necessitate a call for activation of personnel as disaster service workers. Through the Emergency Operations Center, departments will be notified of staffing needs and the department's responsibility to recall staff to assist with identified tasks. The county uses a system called Everbridge to alert the public, known as Sacramento Alert. However, as a county employee, your department may utilize this system to contact you in addition to other methods. If you do not hear from your department regarding activation of disaster service workers and you are aware of disasters happening or the activation of the EOC, you should reach out to your supervisor to obtain information on the situation and any response requirements. Information regarding the incident will be posted to www.sacoes.org for both the public and employees. Listen to television and radio broadcasts for announcements activating the county workforce to respond to disasters. The emergency radio station for Sacramento County is KFBK 1530 AM, and television is KCRA Channel 3. Once activated, you may be expected to report to a location different from your normal work location and may receive direct supervision from someone other than your regular supervisor. You will continue to be paid during disasters according to your normal time card submission. However, you may be responsible for filling out additional paperwork that may include sign-in sheets, activity logs, diaries, photos, and details of incident locations, etc. At the time you are activated, you'll be given a briefing on any required documentation you are to keep and submit as part of your incident reports. There may be additional time card codes that are specific to the disaster incident, and it's your responsibility to confirm with your supervisor whether or not these codes should be used for your disaster service work. You have an important role within the county, providing daily service to the community. That role is augmented by requirements in state law that identify you as a disaster service worker, required to report and respond when called to do so. For additional questions regarding your responsibilities as a disaster service worker, speak with your direct supervisor. Should an activation of you as a disaster service worker occur, you should expect additional information to be relayed to you through your supervisor. Thank you for your attention during this brief training. You're a valued member of our county team, and we depend on you to fill a vital role during community crisis.